Thank you. My name is George Stamos, and I'm at the podium here with Andrew Liveris and Dennis Meal. And before we introduce our Toastmaster, permit me a few brief remarks about our hopes for this evening. This turnout is quite extraordinary. Friends from all over the world, and even New Jersey. This is an opportunity to catch up with old friends and new friends. And speaking of old friends, and I don't mean that by age, but by friendship, we have a number of representatives of the Archbishop Iakovos Endowment Leadership 100 Fund. I would ask them to stand and be recognized. George Chendikos, the president. Leadership 100 here in force. Thank you, George. And I might add that each of our honorees and each of us at this podium are members. We have a couple of other old friends who today were nominated and elected to the board of the Hellenic Initiative. John Kalamos of Chicago, and Dean Metropoulos of the Universe. And by the way, guys, it was unanimous. We have some new friends as well. And these new friends are from the National Geographic Society in Washington, which is underwriting, by the way, a remarkable, remarkable exhibition of ancient Greek art with PBS television in the summer of 2016. Gary Nell, the president and the CEO of National Geographic, is here with us tonight. Gary, thank you. And if you see behind me, this is the exhibition, The Greeks, which will start in Montreal. It will go to Chicago and end up in Washington. It is the greatest collection of ancient Greek art ever to come to America. And Gary has invited everyone to his opening in Washington. I'm sure John Kalamos invited everyone to his opening in Chicago. So thanks very much for that. Listen, we're very excited tonight to be honoring three very special friends whose contributions to entrepreneurism, capitalism, and philanthropy are unparalleled. George BEHRAKIS, Pete Peterson, and John Papajohn. Their leadership inspires us all to continue our support in our quest to improve the future of Greece and the Greek people. Throughout the evening, you hear a lot more about our ambitious plans. Jobs and crisis relief, the two cornerstones of THI. And after just 2 years, through your extremely generous support, we have mentored, we have nourished, we have placed in jobs, we have vaccinated, and we have brought hope and change to thousands and thousands in Greece. Thank you. This is your night. After all, if not us, then who? And if not now, then when? Lastly, I want to thank the THI team. Miles Pressler, our former executive director, is here tonight. Thank you, Miles, for all that you did. Mark Airy started as our interim executive director, and the board unanimously elected Mark today to our permanent executive director. Thank you, Mark. He is joined this evening by the rest of that team: Peter Poulos, our development consultant, James Canali, Anna Lee, Angela Giannopoulos, Carla Rubin. And finally, Louis Vega and Chris Christofides of Dow. And let me tell you something, without all of them, none of this would have been possible. And now, thank you all. And now I would like to introduce with a special announcement one of my teammates, Andrew Liveris.
Thank you, George. I have a letter here from our patron, President William Jefferson Clinton, who asked me to read it tonight to all of you, and indeed embedded in it is an announcement. Dear friends, I am delighted to extend my appreciation and best wishes to all those gathered at the Hellenic Initiative's second annual banquet. I was proud to participate in last year's banquet, as well as THI's launch in Athens in 2012, and I wish I could be with you again tonight. This event is a wonderful testament to the dedication and passion of the Greek diaspora. The work you are all doing to support the people of Greece during the financial crisis and to promote long-term economic growth is important for the entire Mediterranean region and indeed the world. I applaud every single one of you involved in THI for taking these meaningful actions towards a stronger future. To that end, I am pleased to share that we recently announced the Clinton Global Initiative's first ever meeting focused exclusively on issues facing the Mediterranean region. Like all of CGI's meetings, CGI Mediterranean will bring together heads of state, business leaders, and civil society innovators to identify practical responses to challenges and make specific, measurable commitments to solve them. This working meeting will be held in Athens in June 2015 and will be focused on generating commitments in areas like youth employment, economic development, job creation, and green growth. I hope THI will help us promote and be part of this event. I am proud to be your patron. Thank you for your commitment to Greece's future. I will definitely try my best, despite a recent grandchild, to be here for your third banquet. All my best, William Jefferson Clinton. Thank you very much.
And now for my other teammate to introduce our Toastmaster, Dennis Meal.
Thank you, George. My name's Dennis Meal. Welcome to tonight's second annual THI banquet. And THI is growing. Embryo was here in the United States, but internationally, the diaspora, as we all know, is all over the world. So we have with us tonight a delegation from Australia. Where are you, Australia? Stand up. Where are you? Round of applause for Australia. We have a delegation from London. Where is London? I can't see with these lights. We have a delegation from Canada. And of course, we have a delegation from Greece. So a round of applause, please, for all of our international participants. I met tonight's MC 25 years ago, 26 years ago, in her living room in Washington, D.C. And I must tell you that in 1988, she was a force to be reckoned with. And that continues today. She is a prolific author. Her most recent work, Thrive, I understand from her sister, she is abiding by one of the rules, which is to try to take a nap once in a while in the late afternoon. By the way, in terms of role models, Winston Churchill, during World War II, turned that into a science. And Arianna follows in those footsteps. But who would imagine that this person, from scratch, from an idea, in a few short years, would create the publication with the largest circulation on the planet. The largest circulation on the planet. So we have with us, to say the least, a very influential commentator on the important issues of our day. I give you our MC, Arianna Huffington. By the way, a member of the board of directors of THI. I forgot to say that.
Oh, fine. Thank you so much, dear Dennis. Thank you all for being here. I must say, For me, it's a special joy to be somewhere where I don't have to explain my accent. It's been the bane of my existence. I didn't relax about my accent until I finally met Henry Kissinger, and he said to me, don't worry about your accent. In American public life, you can never underestimate the advantages of complete and total incomprehensibility. But here we don't have to worry about that, because either we all speak with a Greek accent or we have somebody in our family who speaks with a Greek accent. I want to thank you all so much for making this evening such a success. It is really an incredible occasion for us to come together during these very challenging times in our home country and be there to help in every way that the Hellenic Initiative has been helping. And I must say, for me, it's a special joy to also be able to announce that on November 20th, we are bringing the Huffington Post to Greece. It's a special kind of homecoming for me, having launched the Huffington Post 9 years ago, to finally bring it not just to the country, which is my home country, but after all, the Huffington Post is built on the tradition, the Greek tradition of bringing people together and starting conversations, which is, of course, what we are so good at doing, which is why it's been so hard to get this evening going. So before we proceed, it gives me great joy to welcome to the stage the wonderful Kalomira, to sing both the American and the Greek anthems, and then to ask Archbishop Dimitrios to lead us in prayer. Kalomira, would you join us?
I'm going to see you right here. Yes, Sas. Okay. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Thank you. Και όλοι μαζί το ελληνικό. Σε γνωρίζω από την κόψη του σπαθιού την τρομερή. Σε γνωρίζω από την όψη που με διαμετράει τη γη. Απ' τα κόκαλα βγαλμένη των Ελλήνων τα ιερά, και σαν πρώτα ανδριωμένη χαίρο χαίρε ελευθεριά, και σαν πρώτα ανδριωμένη χαίρο χαίρε ελευθεριά, και σαν πρώτα ανδριωμένη χαίρο χαίρε ελευθεριά. Σας ευχαριστώ πολύ.
Thank you so much, Kalomira. And now His Eminence will lead us to prayer.
Thank you. Please remain standing for 1 minute or so. Before offering the invocation as part of tonight's celebration of generosity, I would like to convey to all the warmest blessings of His All Holiness, the Ecumenical Patriarch Bartholomew. He offers his full blessing to this Hellenic Initiative, because this is an initiative not only of creativity, but an initiative of love and generosity. Tonight we have, in addition to them, elegance in abundance. I cannot address especially persons tonight for a simple reason. Everyone is distinguished tonight. This is a dinner of distinguished brothers and sisters. So I would like again to ask to continue being distinguished, and this is not only in general something that we know from God, who is the generous God, but also we know from St. Paul, who asked people like you not to be people of good works, but leaders of good works. In his works, δίδε και οι μέτεροι καλών έργων προείσταστε. Let's our people be leaders of good works. Again, thank you for this evening, the creators of this evening, the creators of the Hellenic Initiative, which is a rather young organization, but in a short time, this organization seemed to have reached adolescence and maturity, and we will expect continuous progress and advantages in the life of assisting our country of origin, Greece. And tonight we have among us the joy to have the Undersecretary of Development, the very proper person for what we are doing in terms of assisting, and the Consul, the Ambassador of Greece to Washington, and the Consul General of Cyprus. And now let us thank God and pray.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Glory to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, now and forever, and unto the ages of ages. Amen. Lord have mercy, Lord have mercy, Lord have mercy. Holy Master, bless.
Χριστέ ο Θεός, ευλόγησον την βρόσιν και την πόσιν των δούλων σου, ότι Άγιος ή πάντοτε, νυν και αεί και εις τους αιώνας των αιώνων. Αμήν. Christ, our God, Creator and Father of ours, we thank you for this evening of being together to celebrate an achievement in offering assistance to our brothers and sisters in Greece. We ask you, Lord, to be present tonight among us, to guide us, to bless all the people present here and their families, to bless the Homogenia and our brothers and sisters in Greece, and also to bless the food and drink that we are going to partake of tonight. For you are the giver of every good thing, and to you we give glory, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, now and forever, and unto the ages of ages. Amen. Καλή όρεξη, bon appétit, enjoy the food and the company tonight.
So now we are coming to the main part of our evening, which is really twofold. One is to honor three extraordinary, generous Greeks. And the other is to tell you the story of the Hellenic Initiative. When I was growing up in Athens, in my one-room apartment, the one thing my mother taught me, sitting around the kitchen table while she was cooking, because, you know, Greek mothers think if you don't eat every 20 minutes, something terrible will happen to you. So between eating and talking about Greek philosophy and everything that seemed so real to her, she taught me to always feel that I was bigger than my circumstances. And I think the Hellenic Initiative is really there to unleash that sense of possibility again in the Greek people. Because there is such amazing ingenuity, creativity, and compassion in the Greek people. It just has to be unleashed. And some of the elements of the Greek Hellenic Initiative are, first of all, the Hellenic Entrepreneurship Awards, sustained by the Libra Group, that have been giving opportunity to young entrepreneurs. And I want to ask the Executive Director, Jimmy Athanasopoulos, and the winners present in the room to stand and be recognized. Another great initiative is called Regeneration, and it's been led by the Coca-Cola Company, partnering with THI to provide 55 internships with 20 companies in Greece in an effort to actually improve the Greek economy. And I would like to ask the leaders of this group and the head of Coca-Cola in Southeast Europe to stand so that we can applaud them and recognize them. And now we have a video for you.
THI was founded back in 2012 as a response to the crisis. Its vision was to support and help Greece throughout these difficult times. Relief, recovery, and renewal are at the center of attention of THI's programs. We are always trying to create safety nets for the ones who cannot, and also opportunities for the ones who can.
Καταπολεμούμε κάθε ασθένεια, ακόμα και την αδικία. Αυτό που κάνουμε εδώ είναι να δίνουμε ευκαιρίες σε ανθρώπους να έχουν μια κανονική ζωή. Γυρίζουμε λίγο από τη χαμένη αξιοπρέπεια των Ελλήνων πίσω. Η βοήθεια που παίρνουμε από την ελληνική πρωτοβουλία είναι πολύ σημαντική. Πρακτικά, τα πράγματα που κάνουμε εδώ γίνονται χάρη στη γενεοδορία αυτών των ανθρώπων.
Τα τελευταία 2 χρόνια δημιουργήθηκαν παράξενα συναισθήματα σε εμάς. Τα παιδιά που προστατεύουμε ήταν το δύσκολο κομμάτι της δουλειάς. Ήρθαν όμως έτσι τα πράγματα και πλέον μέσα και από τη βοήθεια της ελληνικής πρωτοβουλίας είναι τα χωριά που στηρίζουν πολλές οικογένειες, καταρχάς να σταθούν στα πόδια τους, πολύ περισσότερο όμως να μην διαλυθούν, γιατί δεν υπάρχει τίποτα πιο σημαντικό από την οικογένεια.
focus on people. We think that there are many good ideas, but if there's not a team of people behind it, then the idea cannot grow.
At Venture Garden, we want people who have the fuse and want to light it. We are looking for people who are willing to take the plunge into the entrepreneurial setting. THI's contribution is multifaceted. Apart from the very significant financial support, we also had people flying in from the States who gave us insights and ideas, helping our teams get better.
There should be a shift of purpose to a visionary Greece. The Hellenic Entrepreneurship Award was born out of a belief that economic malaise and the financial crisis shouldn't discourage all those having an idea worth pursuing. The larger picture is to support the most important asset Greece has, and this is human capital. We are here to support all these people having a great idea, providing them with mentorship, funding, and business support.
So Regeneration, it is addressed to young people, and it provides a lot of opportunities in order for them to be able to come in contact with the business world and have a more professional exposure.
One of the biggest assets that THI can bring is the global community, the Greeks all over the world and also the global philhellene community. It's very powerful as a message to be able to see all these people sitting at the same table, thinking about the same solutions, about tackling the same problems.
Σε μια δύσκολη εποχή σαν αυτή, το να βοηθήσεις ή να βοηθηθείς είναι κομμάτι της καθημερινής πραγματικότητας και νομίζω ότι είναι και κομμάτι της κουλτούρας των Ελλήνων ανά τη γη. Αυτό που μοιάζει ασήμαντο για μια οικογένεια μπορεί να κάνει μια διαφορά. Το φάρμακο που λείπει, η ιατρική φροντίδα που δεν έχουν, τα τρόφιμα που θα πάρουν. Υπενθυμίζει σε αυτούς τους ανθρώπους ότι είναι άνθρωποι όχι απλά αριθμοί, είναι έχουν όνομα, επίθετο και ιστορία. Αυτό είναι μια δουλειά ενός Έλληνα.
There can only be a brighter future for Greece. And sometimes I think of Greece as a sailboat, which happens to sail for thousands of years now. And it just happens that we are the crew right now. And all we have to do is try to stay away from the rocks and explore the best of the oceans and the most beautiful of the islands. But we have to do that with only one promise, that we do it all together. Oli Mazi.
I imagine the Greece of the future providing the fertile grounds for well-changing global companies.
Θα ήθελα να δω μια χώρα σαν τα καλοκαίρια της.
I would like Greece to become synonym of happiness, revival and freshness.
Και όσο θέλουμε να το πετύχουμε, πάντα θα υπάρχει ελπίδα για ένα καλύτερο αύριο.
I wish in the years to come we have even greater stories to share.
I love the message of this video, Oli Mazi. Everybody together will be able to turn things around in Greece. And the Hellenic Initiative is doing its part. Its board members have collectively contributed $10 million to an €80 million fund that is here to create the kind of opportunities that we saw in the video. And our own board member, Jeremy Downward, is actually going to be representing the Hellenic Initiative in this fund. So now, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you our ambassador, Christos Panagopoulos, Greece's ambassador to the United States. Ambassador Panagopoulos was born in Kalamata, and he has served... I know, my father was born near there in Dimitsana. Anybody from Dimitsana? No, too small. And close by. And he served both Greece and America. But another little known fact that I found out, and I checked it with him, is that he was also a member of Greece's junior national water polo team. So I give you Ambassador Panagopoulos.
What an honor it is to be introduced by our own Arianna. Arianna, you said before about Greek accent. How about some Kalamata accent now? Yes, I know. Well, I would like to thank you so very much for inviting me tonight to be part of this great event, a splendid night of celebration, of achievement, but also commitment. I can see our Greek-American community at its best, along with philhellenes and friends from all over the world who join forces, who join their hands in order to bring new hope and real assistance, tangible assistance to Greece, my country which is fighting the good fight. Not only to get out of this terrible economic crisis, because at some point all the economic, social crises, they come to an end. The real question is what kind of country we have the next day. And that's what the real fight of all of us is about. To create the Nea Elada, to correct the mistakes of the past, to reform our country so we'll be proud of it, not only ourselves, but our friends, our children. And dear friends, we are turning the corner. We, step by step, with the huge sacrifices of the Hellenic people, and of course with your own help, we have the good results, and we're hopeful. And we're doing the right thing, and we're meeting success. That's why allow me to extend to each one and all of you heartfelt gratitude and feelings of respect and deep appreciation of what are you doing. With your leaders, all of them who are joining us tonight, you are joining forces to help us. And we really appreciate this. We will never forget this. And your leaders, they deserve our admiration for what they achieved in their lives. But most important, I believe, it is that they are giving back to all of us. Most important for me is to congratulate from my heart the 3 recipients of the awards tonight. Some of them I know from years. I wouldn't say how many years. I don't like to expose myself on themselves, but they are good friends from the past, from Boston. Some of them, congratulations. Dear friends, I think we're very lucky tonight, because we have with us a member of the Greek government, Mr. Notis Mitarakis and Mrs. Mitarakis. Notis Mitarakis, after a successful career in the private sector as a banker in London, he was elected to the Greek parliament, and I believe he belongs to the inner cycle of Prime Minister Samaras, giving the good fight day in, day out. The Prime Minister entrusted him with a very important portfolio, which lays in the very heart of our efforts to bring growth, which is necessary, the portfolio of development and investment. And our wishes are with him, and it gives me a great honor and pleasure to ask Secretary Mitarakis to come here to the podium. Please join me in welcoming Notis Mitarakis.
We're now moving from Kalamata accent to Chios accent. I see we have a big Chios delegation in the room. Your Eminence, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Greece is not simply a country that needed to change. Greece is not only a country that wanted to change. Greece is a country that is rapidly changing, and that thanks to the sacrifices of the Greek people that undergone the biggest economic and social crisis a Western democracy have seen after the Second World War. Greece has lost 25% of output in only 6 years, and there is no record in history of such an economic decline. But the reasons that led Greece to need an external assistance in 2010 have all reversed in 2014. The government no longer has a deficit, actually has a surplus. The current account is no longer negative, but actually for the first time since 1948 is positive. So Greece is producing, is exporting, is welcoming 21 million of tourists this year. Greece has been able to retap the markets and borrow again in April 2014. We managed in 2013 to get the same level of foreign direct investments we enjoyed before the crisis. And also this year, for the first time since 2008, we will see positive GDP growth. It has been a momentous effort, and I give all the credit not to the government but the people. And I would like to thank Andrew and his team at the Hellenic Initiative for being pivotal in motivating us since 2012, since the very first days in this big effort we had to undergo. If I can leave one message with you today, it will be the following. The biggest competitive advantage of Greece is nothing else but the human capital, the people. And like yourselves, I had the luck, or call it any way you want, to have spent most of my life abroad, working abroad. And I've seen Greeks being successful abroad. And everyone always said, why can't we do that at home? Because we do have that human capital. And I think what Greece now needs is more investments to get the economy back on track, to utilize this enormous asset our country has. You know, Greece is a proud nation, and will always be a proud nation. So what the young people in Greece are seeking is not just support, it's not just the wonderful things the Hellenic Initiative is doing, but what people want is an opportunity. And I think people deserve an opportunity, and more importantly, given the opportunity, they'll do extremely well for everyone. Thank you so much for all your support.
Thank you so much. Okay, I have to try one more time to see if I can get another accent. I struck out with my father. My mother was from Thessaloniki. Anybody here from Thessaloniki? Okay, that's better. So now we are coming to the heart of the evening, recognizing the winners of the Hellenic Leadership Award. And before we proceed to this year's recipients, let us recognize last year's recipients: Mukhtar Kent, Andreas Drakopoulos, the Stavros Niarchos Foundation, and our own THI chairman, Andrew Liveris. And this year, all the recipients are going to receive this beautiful award that you're seeing behind me, which is actually engraved with the inscription En Aristevin, always excel, which is at the heart of so much that Greece has taught us. So let us start with the first recipient, George BEHRAKIS. George has said, if I want to give, I give from my heart. And from working in his uncle's restaurant as a kid, going to pharmacy school, serving in the army, publishing the Hellenic Voice, George has truly done it all. So here's a look at George and his accomplishments.
George BEHRAKIS is a man of the heart. As he once said, I'm the type of person that if I'm going to get involved, I get involved 100%. I not only volunteer, I give. As the Greeks say, imuna ticheros. But such luck is not a matter of random chance. And George's was founded when his father Drakoulis immigrated from Mani, met his mother Stavroula, also from Mani, and they started a family in Lowell, Massachusetts. George went to the Hellenic American Academy in Lowell and on to pharmacy school and to an illustrious 40-year career in the pharmaceutical industry. From his early days at Johnson & Johnson to the start of several companies of his own, Dooner Laboratories and Muro Pharmaceuticals Inc. When he retired from his chosen career, he commenced a second career of philanthropy. In 1996, George and Margot BEHRAKIS established the BEHRAKIS Foundation to further his lifetime of philanthropy in the areas of arts, education, healthcare, Hellenic causes, and the Eastern Orthodox faith. They have established chairs and scholarships at many universities and medical facilities, including his alma mater of Northeastern. They have donated $25 million to Boston's Museum of Fine Arts, and the museum has named its Art of the Ancient World wing in their honor. Most recently, he initiated the anti-smoking campaign in the elementary schools of Greece called HEART, Hellenic Action Through Research Against Tobacco. A more worthy acronym would be hard to find. In his own words, if I want to give, I give from my heart. My family and my wife, that's the way they think too. George BEHRAKIS and his philosophy of philanthropy, a gift to us all.
And now to present the award to George, fellow board member and dear friend, Panagopoulos.
On behalf of all of us in the Board of Directors of the Hellenic Initiative, George, congratulations and axios.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Ambassador to Hungary. Yeah, I remember. Oh, she's lovely. Thank you. We'll say a few words before. Thank you, Ms. Huffington. Let me thank the Hellenic Initiative, Mr. Leveris and his staff and members. I greatly appreciate it. When George Stamos called me, I really did not want to do it, but he forced me, being from the little village in Mani that Stamos is from, and being a Magnati myself, I had to accept his request. But in truth, you know, our parents came here over 100 years ago, and we should be a proud group of Greek Americans because we've been very successful as a small community. We may be the smallest ethnic group in America. We figure 1.5 million or 2 million, but I believe we're closer to 1.5 million. But our success has been because we have the Greek fortitude, the ambition, the drive, and to strive for success. Greeks always went for the gold and never for the silver or the bronze. We created the Olympics, and we're proud of it. And I want to thank you all for coming. I know you left your homes to come here, but this is a great organization, and we need to support it. It's doing a lot of good work. Thank you all very much.
Our second honoree is PETERSON, who has truly lived the arc of the American dream. In 2010, he signed Warren Buffett and Bill Gates' giving pledge, promising to give at least half his wealth to charity. And this is a truly remarkable achievement for someone who started life raised by Greek immigrants in Nebraska, whose father saved enough money washing dishes to start a diner. What a Greek story. And as Peter has said, I cannot think of anything more important than trying to preserve the possibilities of the American dream for my children's and my grandchildren's generations. And it is very fitting that to receive the award on Pete Peterson's behalf is his granddaughter, Alexandra Peterson-Cart, and to present the award is board member Konstantin Karidis. So, Konstantin is here. Now we just need Alexandra. We're going to watch the video first, and then we'll wait for Alexandra.
Peter G. Peterson is a dreamer, an American dreamer, as he put it in the title of his 2009 memoir. His life and work are a testament to the enduring power of the American dream, that generations yet unborn will enjoy the full benefit of that dream. His father, Georgios Petropoulos, immigrated from Greece in 1912. Peter was born in 1926 in Kearney, Nebraska, where his family ran a diner. But Pete went on to MIT, Northwestern University, and the University of Chicago. By 1963, he was the CEO of Bell & Howell. 10 years later, he became the chairman and CEO of Lehman Brothers. And in 1985, he co-founded the Blackstone Group, which evolved into one of the world's largest private equity investment firms. And then there is his distinguished record of public service. In 1972, he became the first Greek American to become cabinet secretary, the Secretary of Commerce. All along, he's been a leader in the nonprofit sector, but his most dramatic philanthropic endeavor was the $1 billion commitment of his personal fortune to establish the Peter G. Peterson Foundation, dedicated to addressing the economic challenges threatening America's future. As he said himself, our children are unrepresented. The future is unrepresented. The moment is long overdue for us to become moral and worthy ancestors. So I decided to set up a different kind of foundation, one that would focus on America's key fiscal sustainability challenges. His own dream of excellence realized, he insists it must go on for future generations.
On behalf of the board members of the Hellenic Initiative, I'd like to award this to your grandfather.
Thank you very much. Good evening. It is an honor for me to receive this award on behalf of my grandfather. As his eldest grandchild, the greatest lesson he ever taught me was to love my work. For my entire life, I have watched him work tirelessly on his public, private, and philanthropic initiatives with focus, passion, and resolve. As a businessman, he has said that his success has been the result of dumb luck. I know better than that. His work ethic and devotion to greatness paved a way to his many professional achievements. As a public servant, having served as Secretary of Commerce under the Nixon administration, as well as the chair of the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, his commitment to the betterment of society has been unwavering. These days, you can see him on stage at the Fiscal Summit, joined by some of our government's key decision makers discussing the importance of fiscal responsibility. Or, with a simple search on YouTube, watch videos as far back as 1984 of him preaching the same exact message with giant Coke bottle glasses. I can't think of my grandfather without hearing the echoes about the unsustainable U.S. deficit, a topic I'm sure in this room you have heard him go on and on in length. In the last few years, he's spoken of his own disbelief that a nerdy Greek boy from Nebraska could become what he himself might call a fat cat. Through his incredible stories of working long hours in a Greek diner that never closed, reiterating his father's persistent economia and an emphasis on education, it is clear that those lessons ran deep, and the values of his parents, Georgios and Venetia, have driven him to work hard, save responsibly, and to give back. He has taught me to make the tough choices and to be true to my principles. Even if challenging in the short run, the long-term benefit is always worth it. His work ethic has clearly never wavered, even in older age. He's equally, if not more, adamant about the need for fiscal reform and the importance of educating the American public, as well as the world, on responsible government spending. But most importantly, especially in more recent years, he has reminisced of his parents, his beloved Greece, and all that he learned while living the American dream. As I look around this room, I wish to also pay tribute on his behalf to the many inspiring examples of Greek heritage that my grandfather would be so proud to be in the company of this evening. A heritage rooted in family values, tradition, good old-fashioned hard work, the pursuit of excellence, and in the commitment to serving as examples to others. If you've been to an event with my grandfather before, you know that he liked short speeches and short events. So on that note, and on behalf of my grandfather and the PETERSON family, I extend to you my deepest gratitude for this prestigious award from the Hellenic Initiative. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alexandra. What a beautiful speech. Your grandfather must be incredibly proud of you. Congratulations again. And now our third and final honoree is John Papajohn, whose parents came to America when he was 9 months old, opening a grocery store in Mason City, Iowa. Don't you love that? It's just such an amazing story. And let's watch a little bit of that story on video.
John Papajohn is a visionary, and that vision is seen not only in an extraordinary life of entrepreneurial genius, but in a philanthropic legacy of beauty and wisdom. His story begins with a young family who emigrated from Greece and encountered adversity early on. When John was 16, his father tragically died, leaving him and his 2 brothers to run the family grocery store. The 3 brothers even alternated the years they attended college to preserve the family business. John always set big goals for himself, and his positive mental attitude has created a lifetime of success. He became one of the nation's first and is now recognized as one of the world's premier venture capitalists. In 1969, he founded Equity Dynamics and Papajohn Capital Resources in Des Moines, Iowa. He has served as a director for more than 40 publicly traded companies, launched more than 100 startups, and taken more than 50 companies public. He has received many honors for his accomplishments, including the prestigious Horatio Alger Award, honorary doctorates, and other awards too numerous to mention. And while John is a known entrepreneurial genius, he is equally known for his generosity. John and Mary Papajohn have contributed $100 million to education. They have founded the John Papajohn Entrepreneurial Centers at 5 Iowa colleges and universities. Their success has resulted in more than 175,000 graduates of the program and more than 2,000 small businesses launched. And their philanthropy toward education is equaled by their love of beauty. John and Mary Papajohn are among the top 200 art collectors in the world. John also sits on numerous boards for the arts, including the Des Moines Art Center, the Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts, the National Gallery of Art, and the Whitney Museum. It's hard to capture the force of John Papajohn in so few words, but suffice it to say, he is a force of nature that transforms and grows dreams and results for people across the world, making it a better place to live.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome John Papajohn and board member Harry Wilson.
Oh, first. There you go. Okay. John, here you go. Thank you. John, your contributions to society are an inspiration of so many of us. It's an honor to have you be such an integral part of the Hellenic Initiative, and an honor to present you with this award this evening. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I am very proud and honored to receive this wonderful award. I know there are many other qualified honorees here this evening, and I want to share this honor with them. Who am I? How did I get here? My name is Yanni Papagianni. Son of George Papagianni, a young Greek entrepreneur who left Greece at the age of 18 at the turn of the last century to come to America the land of opportunity, about 1900. You worked hard, worked at the brick and tile plant, saved enough money to start a little grocery store, made enough money, it was time for him to get married. He went back to Greece. They lined up 20 girls in his hometown, picked my mother out of a lineup, married in a month, pregnant in the first month, that was me. Nine months later, my mother and I emigrated to the land of opportunity, Mason City, Iowa. Mason City, Iowa. It was a wonderful place to live and a wonderful place to work. I did all the usual things as a young lad, Greek school, altar boy, all of those things. I also had the distinction of having to go to kindergarten for 2 years because I could not speak English. In fact, my kindergarten teacher wanted to adopt me because she had never had anyone in her class for 2 years. I grew up in a wonderful neighborhood. It was multicultural and multi-ethnic. 29 different nationalities went to my grade school. 29, documented by the local newspaper. But we all learned to get along very well. Like many of you, I was the typical entrepreneur. I did everything. I plucked chickens. I was a junker. I did everything in order to make a living. I've always been the Energizer Bunny. I've got lots of energy, and you need energy in order to get things done. And I've also been a dreamer. I still dream. I fantasize all the time about what I'm going to do. I'm 86, and I still dream. I graduated from high school. As the video states, I alternated with my brothers to go to college. All three of us got college degrees. And then when I graduated from school, I did not interview for a job. I'm an entrepreneur. I wanted to start my own business. I ended up in the insurance business because it didn't take any capital. I got bored. But I did start a life insurance company. The Guardsman Life was very successful, but it wasn't very exciting. And I heard about this new business called venture capital. So I became one of the early venture capitalists in America. That was 45 years ago. I never started a venture fund. I had saved enough money that I made a couple of investments, and somebody took care of me because one of my early investments was Caremark. And the rest is history. 1961, I fell in love and I married the love of my life. Marilyn Bears, stand up, honey. We've been married 53 years. 53 years. My daughter's here also with my son-in-law, Annie, and R.J. Vasiliou. Stand, please. I still work 60 hours a week. I love to work, but I'm spending more time on non-for-profit and on philanthropy. We are blessed. We are blessed because of this wonderful country where opportunity is still available to those people who are willing to pay the price. 17 years ago, as it mentioned in the video, we had a recession in the country and a special recession in the state of Iowa. And Mary and I talked, and I said, we must do something for our state. We got a hold of our governor, Terry Branstad, who's still our governor today, believe it or not. And we decided to start 5 entrepreneurial centers in the state of Iowa. It was the worst of times when we started the centers, and it is the best of times today. And one of the things you have to remember, it's always either the best of times or the worst of times, and it really doesn't make a difference if you've got something to do. I'm comparing Iowa 17 years ago to Greece today. I think Greece needs help. As a result, Mary and I committed $500,000 to the Hellenic Initiative. They've matched our $500 for $1 million fund to assist with starting new entrepreneurial businesses in Greece. In Greece, startups. There are several entrepreneurial projects going on in Greece. There cannot be too many. We really need to help Greece. If everybody here would help Greece, if everybody that's here tonight would say PMA, positive mental attitude, let's talk positive about Greece. Last summer, one of my associates, Kurt Heyer, Kurt, stand up, please. Kurt. Kurt went to Greece. He's not Greek. He spent 5 weeks. He worked in Athens and Thessaloniki with young people who wanted help to start a business. It was an extraordinary trip. The results were amazingly positive. There is a report for anyone who wants to see the report. And I'm telling you that Greece is going to be the best of times in the not too distant future, because even though it is the worst of times now, it is going to be the best of times. I want to, in closing, I want to ask everybody, please, I want to remind you all, why are we here tonight? We're here to help Greece. So let's be positive. Let's talk about all the good things, not about the bad things. And those who can help, contribute. And if you've got an idea and you've got some relatives in Greece, send them some money and let's get a little business started in your Chorio. Let's get a little business started there that can help Greece. And don't forget that it's always the best of times and the worst of times, and it will soon be the best of times in Greece. Thanks again very much for this wonderful honor. I'm mighty proud to be a Greek American. Thank you.
Such a truly inspiring man and such a truly inspiring speech. Thank you so much. Let's give one round of applause for all our honorees. And I loved what he said about PMA, positive mental attitude. In fact, one of the things we want to do when we launch the Huffington Post in Greece in November is put the spotlight on all these good things happening, on all the startups, the entrepreneurs, on all the good things happening. Every day we're going to be covering them relentlessly. And by putting the spotlight, we believe we're going to help them scale and replicate them. So before I bring up Andrew Liveris to close the evening, let me just say that I would love us all to wish happy wedding anniversary to Margot and John Katsimaridis, who've been such great supporters. 26 years. Congratulations, Margot and John. And now to close our evening, after which we can all go out to the garden again and do what Greeks do best, talk. I'd like to bring up Andrew Liveris, who, as well as leading the Dow Chemical Company, has written an amazing book, which I highly recommend, called Made in America, about his vision for the 21st century. And that book could only have been written by an Australian-born son of Greek immigrants who now lives in Michigan, but spends over 200 days a year on an aeroplane flying around the world, but retreats for recharging and regeneration to his island, Castellorizo. Now, do you know? Okay. Castellorizo has 500 people living there. It sounds as though 100 of them are here tonight. So it gives me great pleasure to bring to the stage the chairman of the Hellenic Initiative, Andrew Liveris.
Please, a round of applause for our great MC. Wasn't she terrific tonight? Thank you, Arianna. Arianna has lots of things going on in her life, and one of them is to teach us all how to rest and meditate and take it easy. So it's my job to see you out of here, okay, in great spirits, a bit of aperitif if you want on the patio. You've been a patient audience. You've been very, very respectful of our great honorees. And I just want to thank you all for that. I have a few things I need to say. Firstly, thank you, Minister Notis Motridacci and Ambassador Panagopoulos, for your representation of the great country of Greece tonight. Please, a round of applause for them. Thank you. Tonight, we raised $2.3 million. Not many years ago, I closed the evening at another event in New York at the Lincoln Center. I closed the evening on behalf of the American Ireland Association. I'm not Irish. They raised $5 million that night, and in the last 9 years, they've raised $1 billion. Greeks punch above their weight. We can definitely outdo the Irish. Why was a Greek Australian living in America asked to close the Ireland Fund dinner? Because I'm a friend of Ireland. How many friends of Greece are out there? How many philhellenes in this room? How many philhellenes like President Clinton do you know? Your reach is enormous. Your connections are everything. And the last time I checked, Greeks make excellent connectors. We're networkers. We're relationship builders. We're mercantile. We're traders. We're people of commerce. And yes, what the ancients gave us, philosophy, culture, indeed democracy. We're all those things and more. On behalf of the board members of THI, thank you for beginning something critical to Greece. The diaspora of Greece are coming together. Finally, Mark Airy, our new director for THI, made the comment, thank you, made the comment that there are 11 million Greeks in Greece and 11 million Greeks outside of Greece. There's 11 million Greeks outside of Greece. You. Tonight, we have our Canadians. Where are you? Canadians, say something. Our Brits, where are our Brits? Our Aussies, where are our Aussies? And some Europeans. We haven't even touched South America yet, the Middle East, Africa, maybe Antarctica and the Arctic. Greeks go everywhere. We'll find them. We will work together to this vision of Greece. When we launched THI, we said, think generational, think decades, crawl, walk, run. Your Eminence, you used the analogy tonight that we're walking like an adolescent. Maybe we're lurching from place to place, hitting the furniture, knocking our heads, tripping occasionally, but we're learning together. Oli Mazi, we're learning together. The intellectual capital and the emotional capital in this room and the rooms beyond these rooms are our resource. Accents have been mentioned tonight. I can't claim a Castelorian accent, but I can certainly claim an Australian accent. But I'm proud to live in this great country called America for what it represents. I'm proud because America is a giving nation. And yes, indeed, we Greeks, the ones who came from Greece and our parents and grandparents made the ultimate sacrifice through Ellis Island. And yes, our honorees, George BEHRAKIS, Pete Peterson, John Papajohn, you represent them. You represent us. Some of you indeed came through Ellis Island. Some of you had your names changed, but you stayed Greek. You honor your forebearers. You honor your children. You honor them because you represent the best of America as a Greek. Rediscovering that in the diaspora is one of the things THI aspires to. Helping Greece rebuild itself is worth the aspiration. You know, when those famous Persians invaded 2,500 years ago, when there were lots of battles being fought to preserve those Greek city-states, in the Battle of Samos, a famous playwright wrote, his name was Aeschylus, "Forward, sons of the Greeks, liberate the fatherland, liberate your children, your women. Now is the fight for everything." And now indeed is the fight for everything. If there ever was a time for the Greek diaspora to cross the borders, cross the nations, cross the city-states, and join hands and come together, now is the time. The sons and daughters of Greece, you can. You can help our nation rebuild itself. You can give it a future it so well deserves. Greece is not defined by 5 years of history. It's defined by 2,500 years of civilization. We can, thank you. Thank you. We can indeed bring the best of America and the rest of the world, Australia, United Kingdom, Europe, all the continents of the world. We can indeed bring our knowledge. But please, let's start where we started, as aspirant youth, with nothing in our pockets, a suitcase in our hands, and a dream. And if John Papajohn, if you can indeed, like Iowa leads the U.S.A., if you can make the analogy of Iowa leading Greece, then so be it. Pick your favorite town, favorite community, and help Greece rebuild. Now's the time. Thank you for your generosity, your dedication, your absolute emotional commitment to our motherland, Greece. Oli Mazi, we will win. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the night.